the handshake. Matatu operators lament over increased fuel prices as Kenya Kwanza leaders fault court for halting Finance Act implementation. Council for Nomadic Education invents an environmental-friendly cooking method to bolster environmental greening. And in sports, Robert Kipkemoi and Naum Jibet tops the Nairobi City Marathon. Ruth CHEPKOECH is our sign language interpreter tonight. My name is ODIDA and we are live on our social media platforms. That is on Facebook and YouTube at KUTV_Kenya. We begin. Now, President William Ruto has today announced that 7 million Kenyans have been removed from the Credit Referencing Bureau, that is CRB, and that 4 million more are expected to be cleared from the list coming November. The president has also promised to revive the construction of the halted Itari Dam, citing that he has recovered 15 billion lost during the previous regime.
Accompanied by Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua and other Kenya Kwanza leaders, President Ruto today attended an interdenominational Thanksgiving service at the St. Mary's Catholic Church in Molo Sub-County, Nakuru County. While addressing the congregants, the president announced that about 7 million Kenyans have been cleared from the CRB listing and several more will be cleared come November.
Mimi nikawaeleza tutawaondoa wa Kenya katika blacklisting ya mambo ya Credit Reference Bureau. Leo mimi nataka niwatangazie ya kwamba we have made that commitment come true. Wakenya milioni 7 ambao walikuwa wamekuwa blacklisted wote tumewaondoa katika blacklist.
In relation to water distribution, the Commander-in-Chief has promised to revive the halted Itari Dam construction, citing that his government has recovered the 15 billion shillings lost during the previous regime that was set aside for the construction of the dam.
Tutarudi kukamilisha dam ya Itare mupate maji. Wamekubali ya kwamba ile pesa karibu bilioni 15 ambayo ilikuwa imepotea, sasa hiyo pesa tumepata ambayo ilikuwa imepotea, and we are going now to complete Itare Dam.
The president has also defended the Finance Act 2023, citing that compared to previous regimes, his government is the only one that involved Kenyans in implementing the act.
Finance mimi sijatoa mahali popote, ilikuweko. Ni vile tu ilikuwa inazungumziwa na watu wachache. Saa hii tumefungua kwa Wakenya wote. Kila mtu achangie mawazo yake, mwingine aseme ni sawa, mwingine aseme sijui, mpaka tukubaliane. Si namna hiyo? So tunataka kuweka mambo yetu wazi.
Leaders accompanying the president lauded him for running a transparent government, with some vowing to stand by him for the sake of economic transformation.
Mimi nataka nikupongeze kwa sababu umeelekeza njia yetu kwa njia ifaayo. Tunajua unaenda kuitengeneza kila kitu iende sambamba, na hiyo ndio tuko nyuma yako 100%.
And I thank you for running a transparent government, because the previous discussions we used to see taxes imeongezwa, we are not told for what and why, and we are not involved. But this particular discussion, everybody in the Republic of Kenya, hata shosho niuliza hii kitu ilitoka wapi, wanaongea kuhusu finance bill. That is running a transparent government as your administration promised, Your Excellency.
The Molo visit is one of the interdenominational visits the president has been paying to counties on Sundays in the name of thanksgiving to citizens for electing his government. Ruth Wanjiru, for KUTV.
Now, a section of leaders allied to the Kenya Kwanza administration have faulted the High Court for suspending the implementation of the Finance Act 2023. The leaders, led by Water Cabinet Secretary Ali Swahome, have claimed that the court failed to consider the views of the majority and reacted to a petition of a single litigant. The leaders say halting implementation of the bill will frustrate government's commitment in realizing programs listed in 2023-2024 financial budget. They have now vowed to use legal means to have the bill implemented, saying Kenyans are expecting the government to stabilize prices of the common commodities and lower the cost of living. The leaders were speaking in a Murang'a church during Thanksgiving celebration of Charles Karundo, who is an official in the office of the Interior CS.
I do not expect the judiciary to take the interest of a single litigant and weigh that interest of a single litigant in the name of Ukia Umtata against the entire public interest, public good regarding finance bill or finance law.
Even if we respect our judiciary, we still reserve our right to disagree with some of the things that gets processed through our judiciary. Na mimi nikiuliza mahakama yetu, tunawaheshimu. Hata kwa hii bajeti tumeongeza close to 20% the judiciary funds and resources. We have increased judiciary resources from 18 billion to 22 billion. We are doing that so that our judiciary can continue to be independent.
For me, I believe we are well equipped, we have the best lawyers, we have the best people, and we should always respect the court. Whether it says good thing about you, bad things about you, but if we do not have the courts, and somebody actually told me, the best friend that you should have in your life is the court of law. So for us, we are saying we respect them, but we are going to fight that order in the courts.
Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi has emphasized on the importance of peace and security in the development discourse of the East African community. While representing President William Ruto during peace conference,
kama wa Kenya, kama wa Tanzania, kama wa Uganda, kama wa South Sudan, kama ndugu zetu wa Somalia na kwingine, ni lazima tujue kwamba sisi wote ni viumba vya Mwenyezi Mungu, na tushirikiane na tufanye biashara vizuri na tudumishe amani katika eneo hii yetu. Hapo ndio tutakuwa tuko sawa.
Because it is an important event marking a stage of development in the East African formation.
Moving on, Murang'a Water and Sanitation Company is officially a public company after transferring 98% of its shares to the county government of Murang'a in an event held at the Murang'a Hotel yesterday. The transfer was informed by the directive issued by the Water Services and Regulatory Board, WASREB, under the Water Act of 2016.
Murang'a Water and Sanitation Company, MUWASCO, will fully be managed by the local devolved administration after the firm transferred 98% of its shares to the county government of Murang'a County. This follows a directive by the Water Service Regulatory Board to all water service providers to transit to public companies and to be fully managed by the county governments. Murang'a County Governor Irungu Kang'ata said that the transfer of ownership to his administration will provide a legal framework for the county administration to channel funds to support water projects done by the water companies.
To assure employees of MUWASCO that we shall maintain the standards, the customers of Murang'a Water Company, we shall maintain the standards. We shall not lower the standards.
MUWASCO becomes the second water firm in the county to transfer its ownership to the county government after Kangata Community Water Service. The three local firms, Kathami, Murang'a West and Murang'a South Water Companies, are yet to adhere to the WASREB directives after they declined to have majority of their shares transferred to the county government.
The best way forward when you work together, partnership with the private companies. It is going to make your work easier, and thank you also for assuring the staff members that they will be independent.
Recent conflicts by the Murang'a water providers attracted the attention of the Senate County Public Investments Committee, which resulted to a directive by the Senate Committee to the Anti-Graft Agency to launch an investigation into the ownership of the water companies and ordered the county government to assume ownership of the 5 companies as required by law. The 3 are at risk of having their operating licenses cancelled following the WASREP directive issued in April this year, directing all water farms to transit to Public Companies Limited with the deadline set on June 30th, 2023. Hassan Yusuf, KUTV.
The National Council for Nomadic Education in Kenya, NACONEC, has inaugurated an integrated 3-tier initiative that promotes the use of clean energy technologies for cooking, while at the same time bolstering environmental greening through tree plantation. The initiative also comprises of a nutritious meal provision to enhance a balanced diet among children benefiting from the government feeding program.
The National Council for Nomadic Education in Kenya Deputy Director in charge of Quality Assurance and Standards, Kezia Wandera, has said the persistent use of food fuel for cooking by schools has resulted in environmental degradation. Speaking in Mombasa County on the sidelines of the concluded 46th Kenya Secondary School Heads Association Conference, Ms. Wandera said use of wood fuel causes a lot of carbon emissions into the environment.
Wood fuel causes a lot of carbon emissions into the environment. And as we well know, most of the schools are relying on firewood to cook. We are selling the idea that schools need to shift from predominant use of fuel to considering clean cooking technologies, which will lower the amount of carbon emissions into the environment. And for as long as we are not cutting down trees for purposes of cooking, then we are saving our environment.
Wandera says that the organization has invented a bracket as an alternative to firewood in a bid to minimize cutting down of trees for purposes of cooking. She says that the bracket is a piece of wood that is manufactured from sawdust, soil, or charcoal dust.
This one briquette is said to be able to cook for 3 hours. So clearly, if we are using a briquette instead of the raw firewood, then we are bound to save a lot more in terms of the amount of firewood we are using. And in the process, we are saving the environment because we are cutting down less trees. And so we have a more sustainable environment for future generations.
At the same time, the Deputy Director has lauded the introduction of the feeding program in the arid and semi-arid counties. She said that the provision of meals in schools has encouraged children in ASAL counties to access education by attracting them to school and also providing good health that is essential for the concentration in class.
Children have to be satisfied for them to concentrate. Sometimes you have gone to schools and come across children who can barely sit straight on the desk because they have nothing in their stomach. It is foolhardy for a teacher to purport to teach a child who has no food in their stomach because they will not be concentrating. So food is important. One, it attracts children to school. Two, when they're in school, they're able to concentrate on their learning. They have the energy to undertake physical tasks.
NACONEC is partnering with the World Food Program, that is WFP, to ensure children are served with balanced diet meals. The Deputy Director has also called on schools to focus on planting fruit trees as well as vegetables in order to supplement the dieting aspect. Joseph Kiss, KUTV.
Now, giraffes are considered an endangered species, and in Kenya, the population of the world's tallest animal is on the decline. Officials say 4 to 5 giraffes are being lost daily due to relentless poaching for meat and the harsh realities of climate change. Ahmed Hussein reports from Wajir County in Kenya.
At Sabuli Wildlife Conservancy in Kenya's Wajir County, a group of reticulated giraffes, also known as Somali giraffes, gather. Conservationists say the rare Somali giraffe found mainly in northern Kenya is trending toward extinction. They say there is a need to support community-led conservation efforts to ensure the survival of this threatened species.
It is going under very, very loud extinction because there is highly, giraffe at this moment is facing many threats. The biggest being poaching, commercialized poaching in Wajir County and beyond. It's also facing the effects of climate change, severe drought.
More than 70% of the giraffes in Kenya live on community land rather than national parks or game reserves. According to a 2021 National Wildlife Census report, there were nearly 20,000 Somali giraffes in Kenya, but conservationists warn the number is on the decline.
I believe the government and other partners should support community-led initiatives to conserve wildlife.
In a bid to protect the giraffes, officials from the Kenya Wildlife Service, KWS, have intensified anti-poaching patrols in the bush and at water points in rural areas.
Mostly giraffes are affected by subsistence and commercial poaching within Wajir, which has really affected. But as a service, we are doing all corners meet, and we will contain the menace.
This year, Kenya is celebrating its annual World Giraffe Day in Habaswein town. Conservationists and government officials have gathered here to educate the public on the importance of protecting wildlife. Experts warn the need is great.
We are creating awareness and sensitizing the community around our Wajir on the relations and coexistence with the giraffes and any other wild animals that might be around and how they can benefit.
The giraffe in particular has historical and cultural significance, says Khalif Abdi Hirbate, the Wajir County Executive Committee member for Tourism and Wildlife.
It's our culture, it's our heritage, and we wish to protect it.
According to the Giraffe Conservation Foundation, giraffe numbers have plummeted by around 30% since the 1980s, and only 117,000 giraffes remain in the world. Conservationists like Sharmake remain hopeful that rural communities in Kenya will heed the call to protect the giraffe and other wildlife. Ahmed Hussein for VOA News, Wajir, Kenya.
Now, matatu owners in Narok County have lamented over the increase in fuel prices, which were announced by April on Friday last week. Led by Narok Line Limited Director Andrew Mwangi, the matatu stakeholders say that this will force them to increase fare prices, a move that will pinch, especially at a time when school children will be traveling back to school after the midterm break.
After the announcement of the new prices of petrol, diesel and kerosene on Friday, owners in Narok have expressed their pain.
Mafuta imeenda juu zaidi na zaidi. Magari sijui tutafanya namna gani juu sasa serikali imepandisha mafuta. Hatukatai ipandisha mafuta. Lakini sasa kulingana na vile mambo ilivyo, unakuta tunaelekea msimu wa watoto warudi shule sasa by Monday. Wazazi hawana mipango yoyote ya ile pesa itaongezwa kesho.
Andrew Mwangi, director at Narok Line Limited, says the fuel price hike will force them to increase fare prices, a move that will pinch, especially for parents who have school-going children traveling back to school after the midterm break.
Mbona wameongeza na sheria ilisema isiongezwe. Sasa ile tuizu tungesema wangeongoja sheria ya serikali ama koti irule kwanza isemekane ni siku gani mafuta itaongezwa. Wangeweza kuongeza mafuta usiku. Hivi sasa saa hii watu yote watatestisika. Kuna watoto, kuna nini, kuna watu wengine wajimudu kimaisha. Sasa tungeomba kwanza hii maneno iko kotini iishe.
The stakeholders now call for a decrease in the price of diesel by at least 5 shillings. Diesel shot to 179 shillings and 67 cents in Nairobi after a 12 shillings and 39 cents increase by the April review, which put into account the Finance Act 2023 raise of value-added tax on petroleum products to 16% from 8%. Leaders have also condemned the upward review of the commodities prices. Kadhiani Member of Parliament Robert Mbui claims that the government doesn't care for its citizen, as he called out defying of the court order barring implementation of the recently assented finance law.
Even after the court kuamua isimamishwe, EPRA wale wamesimamia mafuta wametangaza 16% VAT. Hiyo ni kumaanisha tuko na serikali ya majambazi. Tuko na serikali ya watu ambao hawajali maslahi ya Mkenya wa kawaida.
Vihiga Senator Godfrey Osotsi wants EPRA to revise downwards the fuel prices as he accused the president of wanting to amend the constitution to extend his stay at the top office by removing the presidential term limit. EPRA increased prices of petrol by 13 shillings and 49 cents per litre, diesel by 12 shillings and 39 cents per litre, and kerosene by 11 shillings and 96 cents per litre in Nairobi. The Kenya National Civil Society Centre now wants Busia Senator Okia Omtata and other litigants who filed cases against implementation of the Finance Act to cite EPRA in court for defying the judicial system's orders. Mutweri Eliud, KUTV.
The top of the hour, we are taking a very fast short break right here. We're coming back with so much more, so stay with us.
Kenyatta University will hold its 53rd graduation ceremony on Friday, 21st July 2023 at the main campus along Thika Superhighway. KUTV will provide live coverage of the graduation ceremony from 8 a.m. The graduation ceremony will also be streamed live on KUTV, KU website, Lola app, and all KU social media platforms. For more information, please contact the Office of the Registrar Academic on 020-870-3092 or 0786-335-111 or visit the KU website on www.ku.ac.ke. Kenyatta University, transforming higher education, enhancing lives.
Focus on Health is a show that creates awareness on matters health and informs you on various diseases, their causes, treatment, prevention, coping, and support. So join me, Bari Michelle, every Thursday at 7:30 p.m. only on KUTV. You can also follow us on our social media platforms at KUTV Focus on Health on Facebook and also on YouTube, and Health Focus on Instagram, because your health is your wealth. Stay safe and stay healthy.
Access to knowledge, solution to unanswered questions.
Guidelines to pursuing your rights and repossessing your property, intellectual or material.
This and more only on Law Matters.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. Let's continue with our coverage. Now, women on the island nation of Sao Tome and Principe are finding creative ways to make a living and protect the environment. Annabella Pina and Zina Mendez, who were once unemployed, have started a business that transforms glass bottles into jewelry and employs at least half a dozen people. Oscar Medrez of Voice of America spoke to some of them in this story narrated by Barbara Santos. Take a
Annabella Pina and Zinga Mendes were once unemployed. Today, they have started a business that transforms glass bottles into jewelry and employs at least half a dozen people.
It is an organization creating value of what was waste.
The first step was a training course in Ghana, sponsored by the HBD Group, a private South African investment company that also invests in tourism on the Príncipe Island.
E assim depois vai ao forno.
We take it to the oven. We already have our brand. This is a white bottle necklace with yellow and blue pigment. This earring was made with a beer bottle and has yellow pigment. This is our brand, the Príncipe brand.
They work in Roca de Porto Real, a village located in the central part of Príncipe.
After we take the beads out of the oven, we wash, dry, polish, measure, and glue.
Com a lima, depois tiramos a medida do fio para colar.
Pina says in March she traveled to Senegal to train several women from Guinea-Bissau, Tunisia, and France on techniques for transforming bottles into jewelry. Anabela Pina and Zinha Mendes say there are other uses of recycled glass and hope to turn glass bottles into sand to make the material accessible for construction.
Agora nossa ideia é fazer poupança de.
Now we intend to save money to buy a machine to grind the glass. Here, there is a shortage of sand. If we have the machine, we would sell a lot of glass sand.
Tem areia. Se nós tivéssemos uma máquina aqui, nós vendíamos muita areia de vidro.
The two entrepreneurs also manufacture organic compost for use in agriculture. Fatima Cassandra, the regional secretary for social affairs and human capital, says the women set an example in their communities and embody efforts for women empowerment.
Que elas são referência.
They are a reference. Tourists want to see what is ours, and they are able to show that. We make a point of spreading the word so that they inspire other women.
Também elas serem, digamos, a porta para incentivo para outras mulheres.
Pina and Mendes' work is also a draw for the dozens of tourists who visit the island of Príncipe. For Oscar Medeiros, in São Tomé e Príncipe, Bárbara Santos, VOA News.
Now in sports, Robert Kipkemboi and Naum Jebet stormed to victory in the men's and women's 42 kilometers marathon races at the Nairobi City Marathon held in Nairobi early Sunday morning. The marathon, which started and ended at the Nyayo National Stadium, attracted over 15,000 participants. Both Kipkemboi and Jebet will take home a prize fund of 3.5 million Kenyan shillings.
Nairobi City Marathon second edition. Robert Kipkemboi emerged triumphant in the men's 42-kilometer race at the Nairobi City Marathon by clocking a time of 2 hours, 7 minutes and 38 seconds. Kipkemboi established his lead at the 36-kilometer mark and ran out front for the rest of the race to seal a dominant victory ahead of Charles Yosei. The 29-year-old Noam Jebet won the women's 42-kilometer marathon by a time of 2 hours, 23 minutes and 33 seconds, ahead of Sharon Chelimo and Judith Cherubet, who came in second and third place respectively. Jebet, who finished in second place at the Hummingbird Half Marathon just 1 week ago, won by close to a minute in her first attempt of the Nairobi City Marathon. In the men's half marathon race, Ugandan Maxwell Rotich denied Kenyans the chance to have an all-Kenyan podium sweep at the marathon races after he finished first ahead of Kenyan pair Vincent Kipkoril and Kennedy Kimutai. Gladys Chepkirui took home the women's 21-kilometer race by clocking 1 hour, 9 minutes and 6 seconds ahead of Susan Chembai and Nancy Chipleting. Peter Aila led the all-Kenyan podium finish at the men's 10-kilometer race ahead of Kenyan Hilary Chepkwon and Shadrach Kipchirchir. Miriam Chepkech took home the women's 10-kilometer medal as Miriam Chebet and Christine Nalimo finished second and third respectively.
The winner of the men's full marathon.
The second edition of the Nairobi City Marathon will award the top 20 in the 42-kilometer marathon, with the winners taking home 3.5 million Kenyan shillings all the way to the 20th athlete, bagging 30,000 Kenyan shillings. Hassan Yusuf, KUTV.
Now, the sports journalists of Kenya had fun while at the same time battling for the top prize during the Sports Journalists Association of Kenya, that is SJAC Sports Day at Galleria in Karen, Nairobi yesterday. In an event attended by sports journalists from a number of media houses, Nation Media beat Super Sport 3-2 in the final to emerge victorious. In the third place, playoff CGTN went on rampage to hammer Standard 5-0. The winner, Nation Media, pocketed 50,000 Kenya shillings prize money. Super Sport walked away with 30,000 Kenya shillings, while CGTN bagged 20,000 Kenya shillings. And finally, former Arsenal, Barcelona and Chelsea midfielder Cesc Fabregas has announced his retirement from football at the age of 36 and revealed his plans to immediately go into coaching. The Spanish international helped his country to lift the 2010 World Cup and 2 European Championships. Fabregas had a successful football career where he lifted the Premier League trophy twice with Chelsea and won La Liga title with Barcelona. All right, that brings us to the end of our bulletin tonight. Many thanks indeed for keeping us company. Be sure to join me again tomorrow, inshallah, for Money Monday. My name is ODIDA. I'm in the company of RUTH CHEPKOECH, who's a sign language interpreter tonight. Have a good night.